you guys know me. I'm basically a photographer, some digital work. And so carrot people was a term that I was not familiar with. And so I asked Bob to explain where that came from and what it actually is. And so I'm going to ask him to explain that again, just so everyone knows what we were talking about beforehand.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you again from everyone for inviting me back. And it's great to be in the studio with a bunch of artists. So I'm pretty comfortable here. This is great to have Kate here, making sure all the connections work and everything like that. So I'm going to show you what works for me. And I really enjoyed having Randy, the other teacher. Thank you, Randy, for being a teacher. And he mentioned a word, very forgiving. Oh boy, that this one is very forgiving. And I developed this mostly for those of us who just don't spend enough time drawing. That includes all of us, right? You just don't draw enough, and especially don't. You need to go back. If in your community has a life drawing course in a community college or a library or an art group, go. You don't go to those things because you know how to draw. You go there to learn how to see, and it all kind of helps your painting. So you don't have to worry about your technical skills. Guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your technical skills. It's your imagination. When you leave a museum, do you talk about Rembrandt's technical skill? No, you talk about his imagination and the stories and things like that. So that's all I wanted to say about that. And so what I'm doing here is something basically I learned in art school. If you've been an architect in those days, actually had to draw things. You didn't have an iPad to do all your work. So, which I thought was great for me today because now I am very comfortable drawing whatever I want to draw. And I had that skill level because I was trained that way. All right. So don't worry about your skill level. Nobody cares. It's about your imagination. But if you want a crash course, pardon the expression, this is it. All right. And I'm not going to get in about the perfect proportion of seven heads high and all those other things. It's a fascinating subject. That's why we're still drawing people. This is for us who maybe my age. We don't have that much time left, and I don't have that much time to learn more. So this is like a really fast way of how I put figures into my work, very loose work that I do, to give the illusion of some type of human interconnection. That's the reason I do this. It makes more of a storyline too, and I kind of like telling stories as opposed to another pretty picture. So thank you for watching, and I want to show you. I'm going to be doing a lot of demos, less talking. All right. I'm in my studio, so welcome here. On the back walls, kind of the stuff we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing it too. And so again, thanks, Jeff, for inviting me back. So we start off with, well, carrots. Why carrots? To answer Jeff's question. Well, when we were in art school, we are designing full-size cars, for General Motors, and we're doing full-scale drawings. And to show scale, you drew carrot people. And especially if you're in architect school, mostly they're in architect school, they show the building. Then they show a whole bunch of little carrots. It shows the scale, how big the building is or how small it is. And so you didn't want to spend a whole time doing figures, uh, more about the design. And so you're giving the illusion. And that's where I learned how to do this. Now, after I'm learning this, then I started learning about Rembrandt lighting. We're going to get into some of that Rembrandt lighting quickly, all right? And then from there, I'm going to start adding, well, how does it work into, say, an actual painting? All right, so hopefully I can cover all that stuff in a pretty short period of time. So thank you for letting me hear it play. All right, I'm doing acrylic painting. I paint flat on tables. I don't paint on an easel because it drips down too much. So when I put the paint down, I want it to stay there. I paint on paper and canvas. My favorite paper is Fabriano Artistico, 300 pound. It takes a beating. That's what I like about it. And I beat my paper up. I don't treat it really gently. Um, but for tonight's demos, I'm going to be working on pretty much standard stuff. It's pretty heavy duty multimedia paper. We all know about a wonderful Bristol Strathmore. It's a Bristol paper. It's kind of a smooth velvet. It handles water really well. And of course, I love my Strathmore Tone Gray paper. The reason I like the gray because I'm halfway done. If you're doing that grayscale, there's your five. All I have to do is put in the darkest darks and the lightest lights, and I can go home. I know all your art books, if you open up the first page, it does say tone your canvas. Not watercolorist, but tone your canvas, and that's where this comes from. Um, so my sizes will be about this size, my demos. All right, and yes, please ask me any question anytime. I'll try to answer and paint at the same time. So thank you for watching, everybody. And oh, my paints are acrylics. I'm using Holbein. I like the Holbein paints. Any good paint is going to be great. You know, you deserve the best, and you know the good ones out there. There's the Holbein, the Goldens, the Senneliers, and all the other wonderful. You know, be careful of that hobby type of paint. I know a lot of you think, "Oh, I'm just going to get the hobby paint. I don't deserve it. Yeah, I'm not any good." It's your paintings will look like hobbies. So, I mean, the difference is the pigment load, as they call it. And if you ever paint with really professional stuff, it dries with the same color and same intensity as when it was wet. The less expensive paints tend to fade a little bit. And you know what I mean. The next day, it's not as bright and strong. So treat yourself. You deserve it now. Treat yourself to just a couple of tubes of really good paint. And the ones I discovered that I happen to like are Holbein because they're so heavy loaded. That way I can water it way down and treat it like a watercolor. And it doesn't change its color. All right. And that's kind of a nice, kind of a dual purpose there. All right. So carrots. Now, this is especially for us who don't want to draw people or just think, oh, there's too much information. So we're going to go overhead I think here on this one. Thank you for everyone. And start off with some carrot people. This is a great, great exercise to do, especially like a morning, you're in the studio, you don't know what you really want to be doing, but you know you should be in there anyway. So I have my colors out, some basic colors right now in my whole bind. I like to have everything ready to go. I don't do any busy work in the middle of doing a painting. So I have big buckets of water, not coffee cups of water. These are gallon and a half buckets of water with a giant opening. Giant opening. I don't have to go aiming, look for water. And brushes. Brushes. Be a painter. Be a painter. What are you going to do with those three hair brushes? You'll poke your eye out with those skinny things. So we're going to be painting. So that's the size of the brush that I'm going to be doing. And besides, I can get the painting done quicker. I have squirted out some of my Holbein acrylics, big buckets. Oh, and I love painting with paper towels. So you'll see me, it's my security blanket. Paper towels in one hand and brush in the other hand. So the first thing I'm going to do is whatever brush you have in your hand, by the way, whatever brush you have in your hand, put it back and get the next one bigger. We always reach for the smallest brush. And of course, this is all about loosening up. I'm going to do a row of carrots. So the first thing I do is just I'm comfortable. I'm just sitting here on a stool. I wet my brush. This is my black up in here. We'll put it up in here. And now I want to make it really juicy. Doesn't matter what kind of black. It could be Mars black, Payne's gray, bone black. But the most important part here is that it's really juicy and wet. And we're just going to make a dot. I'm going to do a row of them just so it's easy for everyone to see. There's your head. We all make our heads too big. You'll see. And then when you do it, you'll laugh. You see, well, Bob was right. Now for the shoulders, I just push down hard and bring the brush up and boom, done. There you are. There's my carrot. See how hard it is to do these? Again, and just do a whole row of them. Push down hard, and now we're getting close. Just think carrots. Don't think people. They'll look terrible. Right now we're just doing carrots. They're not doing anything other than being carrots. And I'm making sure that this black is really, really juicy. Tiny heads, just dot. And that's with a 1.5 inch brush. You don't need a tiny brush. And then shoulders, and we come way down. Don't worry about making a perfect mess. All messes are perfect. There we go. And you keep doing this, and after a while, you're going to have a whole row of some pretty interesting figures. And again, more black on my brush. This is called practice. I'm going to show you what happens, and I'm just going to tell you right now. I'll do it because you're going to do it. And this is when you all start laughing. In this row, you're going to have a big head. You're going to look like Martians. So just expect one of those. You're going to do it. And then when you do it, then you can laugh. All right? So everybody looks like a Martian. Small heads. When you go out for a walk at the beach or something, look at people. They have tiny heads. I just want to show you a couple other things with this. So I know Randy was talking about very forgiving. This is really very forgiving, isn't it? And I keep the heads kind of pretty much the same. Now they're just straight up and down carrots. Practice this, practice this, practice this. Now let's give them a little more personality here. And maybe dancing or something like that. And that's where you get, by the way, you notice where I'm holding my brush back here. I actually fatten up my brushes. It's easier for me to hold on to this. If I had to hold on to this skinny handle all day long, my hand would crumple up. So all my brushes I've fattened up. It's much easier. Here's a more extreme example of fattening up my brushes handles. See, I couldn't hold on to this little brush all day long. My hands, thank you, arthritis. So I fatten it up, just a stick and some black tape. Now, all right, so let's give it some personality, which means, well, there's your dot, and I'm bending over this way, maybe coming over this way. Oh, cool. Now we haven't, maybe some arms. See, it doesn't need to be anything more than that. Anything more than that. It's like a dancer, dance in the air. And make it zigzag. Go off this way, and go off this way, and go off this way again. Wow, what an attitude. And maybe a leg back in here. See, there we go. It's so exciting, isn't it? But this is where you get to play. If you don't play here, where else are you going to do this? And bending over. Someone said, "Can you do something bend?" Yes, bending over like that, and knees and straight down like that. And we're picking something up off the ground, that kind of a thing. You see how easy that can be. But this is all this is just playing with a big brush, working fast, working really wet, and let it automatically paint itself. If you don't let go here, this is where you have to let go. Right? Again, I'm doing this somewhat quickly on purpose too. Fun, huh? There you go. So now the other thing is they're floating in space. So we like to anchor them as if the sun was out. So we anchor them, and so right at the very bottom of the feet have direction of a shadow coming off, even the alien. It kind of adds a little more believability to the whole illusion, you see. So you're going to have a whole page of this. It becomes a nice graphic piece after a while. Looks nice in your studio. And after a while, you're going to have several pages of nothing but carrots and goofy stuff like this. We can come back later on and add color to these, which I will. All right. Now, another thing I'd like to point out. Now, the what I call the Rembrandt lighting. Well, that's the carrot. Right? Practice that, practice that, practice that. The Rembrandt lighting. Now, when I say Rembrandt, I mean I learned this by looking at a lot of Rembrandt paintings. And, they didn't have light sources other than the window or a door or being outside. And so you ever notice some of the paintings in those days, always the forlorn woman by the window pouring milk, Vermeer painting, pouring milk. It's always or sewing by the window. And so that was their only light source. So that's what I want to really emphasize on this particular one. I'll just do it on one half right over here. Now, it's basically top row is dark, and we'll say the pants are dark down here. So it's dark against light, dark against light. Think of this as a wedge, and think of this as a white wedge, and they're coming together. The white. Now here's the problem: the background. It's cutting right across their belly, right across their cummerbund, right across the belly. So you want to blend it slightly. Slightly blend this. So now we have three values: the darkest dark, the midtone, the lightest light. Now the figure is just the opposite. Dark down here, mid-tone here, lightest light up there, and it really emphasizes the focal point. I'll get it this closer. Now this is a fun one to practice. So I'll just do a black and white one right now. Go right into this one. I'm not going to show this one. Now, there's a reason why we like to also draw on a tone paper or charcoal paper, gray paper. You're halfway done. So I'm going to put a tone down here right now. This is just paper towel, doing it with paper deck because it's quicker for this demo. I'm going to keep on going until I think I have a good mid-tone. More, more juice here. And make it even richer. There we go. Now, notice it's dark up there, lighter down here. I'm doing this on purpose. Really dark up in here. There's your three values. Darkest dark, your mid-tone, and the lights down here. Now, how do I know that this is the mid-tone? How do you know I have enough? Well, I like to take a little bit of white and a little bit of black, like this. And if I can see all three values, now I said good enough. So that's what I'm going to work on. You blend this in right now. Make this really dark up in here to really emphasize this whole point here. All right. There's the three different values. Now we're going to get started. Here comes the Rembrandt. Now we start doing, again, the carrots. When I say Rembrandt, remember it's one light source. So I'm mixing up my white over here. It's my titanium white. And we'll do a carrot right in here. This is a great practice piece, by the way. Small head. I'll go bigger here so you can all see it. And right, and the feet will be blackish down in here. There's your carrot. Trust me, this is the world's fastest course on all of this. And we'll give it a little bit of a shadow down here too. Now I think the head's too big. Thank goodness for negative shape painting. I'm making it smaller. There we go. And you want this to really stand out. I'm going to blend my finger. I'm working with my fingers because it's quicker in this demo. And I want to make this brighter. The eye will always go to the part of the painting that has the most contrast, or it says, look at me, look at me. Usually contrast is a good spot. Keeping it loose. I'm going to keep it really light down in here. Negative shape painting. Think about it. An actor on a stage. Theatrical lighting. Get in, get out. Something like that. All right, real quick. A couple other things I want to point out to you. I'm going to make this head even smaller. There we go. And you all know the difference. I'll point it out to you anyway. Male, female kind of a thing. I think I have that on the back board here.
You want me to go to the back?
Yeah, let's go to the back. Oh, thanks, honey. So you can do a whole sheet. You can see how exciting just one sheet is. And then you get looser and give them some personality, like they're dancing. And that's all we've been doing right now. And then later on, we'll be adding color. But I want to show you the difference. People always ask, what's the difference between male and female? You guys know what it is. But I'm going to show you to you in a real simple way. And because that's the way I like to paint it anyway. So generally, and this is grossly general, so don't write me letters. Men have wider shoulders and narrow hips. Women, just the opposite. Wide hips, thank you very much, and now beautiful narrow shoulders. So I'll do one over here. Make sure we can all see this here. And by the way, you don't connect the heads. Don't connect the heads. If you connect the heads, it'll look like they're coming away, going away from you. So this is creating the illusion. Narrow shoulders. There's your hip. Coming back down into here. It's at least the illusion of it. Narrow and something like that. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to make this guy over here more guy, more manly football player. Think of the football player. There you go. It's a little bit more convincing. And notice that I'm making sure that his belt line is not on the same dark and light line in the back. To make sure that that stands out even more so. So this is now just a matter of me playing with the grays. And I'll do this quickly.
I don't think you have to rush.
Okay, I won't rush. I'm just playing with right now the illusion. Let me get some white. He has no arms. And maybe he has a pocket, hand in his pocket or something like that in the jacket. All right, and if we want, maybe he's classically going out and give him a little bit of a bow tie or something like that. Just gives him something up in that area to make it so it's not just a white blob in here. And there we go. So that's the illusion of the darkest dark to the mid-tone to the light light down in here. And then, of course, the figure itself, the carrot, is just the opposite. Dark down here, mid-tone, light up in there. That becomes the focal point. Same thing if I did the female at the same time. Let me show you some examples of that. So here is an example of where I toned the paper with just orange, one of my favorite colors to start off with, warm. And then I just did the background's dark up in here. Pants are just as dark. Top up here is light. Down here is just as light. And I happen to like to let some of the orange, the background color, peek through. That's what gives it a je ne sais quoi, some excitement to it. You can get to see the brush strokes. And you see how excited I am when I'm actually doing the piece. So we're building up to this level. So we're starting to bring in some color. Again, practice on gray. Your mid-tone is already there, like this. Put this over here. Bring some more white up in here. Make this even whiter. Correct his shoulders. Now he's dressed for the Oscars. There you go. He's looking so cool. White hair. Right. And down here, I want to make sure that there's a lot of contrast down here. Remember, I'm pretending he's on stage. That way I could justify the strong spotlight. Very theatrical. And there's your negative shape painting. I'm keeping the shadow in there. And here, this looks great. And here, mid-tone. I want to make a better mid-tone than that. Even though I have the mid-tone of the paper, I'm going to change it slightly. Because I can, right? Yeah, nice. I'm doing like two separate demos right here. Get in, get out. Don't stay in one place too long. Get in there, get out. Be a painter. So that's the illusion of dark to mid-tone to light shadow. Now here's the illusion of someone walking away. You connect the heads. Think about someone walking away from you. You raise your shoulders, you look down, that kind of a thing. So I may even make it even more pronounced. So you'll see people walking like that, just to give the illusion, all right, of people walking away. Otherwise, if you want them coming towards you, you don't connect the heads with something like this. I'll work on those in a minute. All right. This is fun. So working with black and white, and then after it dries, to come in with some transparent colors. All right, just because we want to, and we can. So this was black and white, and then I came in with some marigold, another translucent color, transparent color, and you can put it over the entire piece. See if I had one already started. Yeah, I'll do it to this one here. Oh, no, I'll do it to this one. I'm just looking for a dried one here. I can do it. Okay, we'll do it with this one. So this is marigold. It's a Holbein color. Indian yellow is another brand name. So it's like a dye. It's translucent. So I'm going to really kick it in with this. Really turn the light on here. Whoa. Talk about making it warm. See, and what's really nice about translucent is, of course, you don't lose what's underneath it. And then if it gets to be too much, you start wiping it away. And I'm going to come back in here now with some white. Make it more dramatic. More contrast. That's where the drama is coming from. Get in, get out. Don't stay there too long. Don't give the viewer all the pieces of information. Why? That's not what you're doing here. You're painting. Make it really dramatic. So again, another nice thing to do is after this dries, you can take translucent colors and put it on top of this. Here's another example where I'd already done the orange to it and made some carrots in here. I'm going to go one more step. Those of you who've been following me, my Bob blasts, know I love this other color, pink, hot pink. This is a whole vinyl. It's called Opera, Luminous Opera. Watch what happens when I put this on top of here. This whole place is going to go nuts. It's, you see, how dramatic is that? Put a little bit up in here too, maybe. All translucent colors. But I can do that because I've already established the figures in this landscape. I'm just working with darks and lights right now. There's not a really strong story in here other than he's in front of a curtain, she's coming around the curtain. That kind of a thing. Right? Now let's see if we can make it more interesting with some of this color, mixing it all up with the marigold in here. Oh yeah, there's the color. And now because I have white in this color, it makes it opaque. And that's what I want. I want it to be opaque. So I could do some negative shape painting. And not give her, there you go, made her shoulders narrower. A nice hip coming across in here. You know, it does help to have, of course, to have some anatomy knowledge. It makes it, your drawing, as loose as this is, it makes it more convincing. This all started because of the carrot. I want to make the head even smaller. And right now, I'm just working with different contrasts, as you can see, based on, give her even narrower shoulder. There you go. Make her legs a little bit narrower. She's like a dancer. Oh, yeah. And this is the manager. This guy up here, that's the manager here. And let's get a red top. Creating the illusion again. Oh, this would be nice. Give her leotards. Give her lights coming around here, so I'm going to make this side lighter. That's your Rembrandt lighting. Get in, get out. I'm going to make her legs longer. Not long enough for me here. More paint. The cadence for me in painting is important. That's why I like to have everything out ready to go. If I have to stop and do something, go somewhere else, it kind of breaks my train of thought. I'm not a prima donna, it's just that I like to take care of myself and not make it harder. I'm making her legs longer. There you go. And nice shape in here. I'm gonna bring this down even more so. And making her neck narrower. Yeah, more convincing. Awfully big shoulders. Yeah, make it more delicate. There we go. But strong. Delicate but strong, yeah. Powerful. She's an athlete. And I'm softening this line in here because I don't want the eye to go right to it. I want the eye to go to the hardest edge. I'm gonna soften this with just water. And bring it up into here. There we go. Now down in here, let's just change this one right down here. Clean this up just a bit. Give her some plie shoes here. Let me go. There we go. Pointed. We have to ground her a little bit. There we go. Certainly make the painting entertaining. Entertain people. You got their attention. So show them something they've never seen before. That's what I like to do. I'd like to do things that I've never seen before. And paint all over. Don't stay in one place too long. That's when we start tickling it to death. So don't start tickling this whole thing. Get in, get out. Work all over. At least this works for me. I should let you know. It doesn't work for everybody. It's just one way. And it doesn't mean I'm the right way. There's no right way here. So it started off with carrots, darks, mid-tone to light down here. All right. I know this is fast. We're getting a lot done in here. This one over here. And where's all this go? Well, eventually, this is a finished piece. I'll just show it to you right here. Yeah, this is a finished piece already. So pretty much what I just got finished showing you. And I like the theatrical lighting, big curtains and side lighting, lights coming across this way. So this side's going to be lighter. But it really started off with, the whole thing started off with as a carrot. There's your carrot right there. All right. And then a bigger carrot. And they're interconnecting. And this is really a nice abstract, lots of water and rubbing alcohol and stuff like that, experimentation. Now that's really a nice loose one. This one here is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, we just got finished showing how you would fit this into a structure of possibly a building or a bungalow at the beach, that kind of a thing. There still is some of a story. This is not finished. It's close to it. But I just wanted you to know, here I'm just playing strictly with color. It's still the carrots. And you don't even see the carrots after a while. You're just looking at the story. Same with this. You don't even see the original beginning. You're just looking at the story. So I'm going to have the honor now and work on a bigger piece here where it was a demo. Get it up in here. Showing a couple of things that I found interesting. If you're walking on the beach, I hope you are, but if you're walking on the beach, one of the things that's really interesting, it doesn't matter how far away someone is, the heads are pretty much on the same line. Of course, our beaches are nice and flat, so there's no hills. So let's, and they were basically tiny little heads. They're just carrots walking away. And what I like to do is now, just like a male, female carrot, right? There's your male, there's your female. There's the rest of the family trying to catch up. And we're going to pretend we're at the ocean. It'll be fun. I'm going to get a big brush. This is a 2-inch wide brush. And let's see if we can create the illusion of the ocean. Very loose. And I'm just going to use, yeah. So here we go. This is wet. Whoa. It's a pretty dramatic day there at the beach. Wow. This is watered down. Needed adding some pink to that because it's transparent. Adds a little je ne sais quoi to the whole thing. Bring some yellow in here. Why not, right? That's pretty dramatic. Looks like a storm right before the beach. I like that. So let's color of the beach will be my marigold and lots of water. Make it exciting. Add some more white in here. Paint, this is what I mean by painting all over. Don't stay in one place too long. Make it exciting for you to paint. Bigger brushes. Bigger brushes. Even with the big brush, I'm going to come in here and without changing my brush or cleaning it, I'll give her some. Get in there, get out. Put this in here. Open this away. Oh, yeah. I like the energy going on in here. And blue. Now I'm painting with a paper towel. Now I'm working with just color. And with a dirty towel. Again, painting everywhere. We don't know what's going on in here, but there's something going on here at the beach. And one more little blast of blue over here. Here we go. Here we go. It's too dark. Needs to be a sunny day at the beach. So here we go.
Bob, I love the colors. Are you thinking about complementary colors or just
No,
fun?
thank you. Great question. I'm thinking about getting out of this demo alive. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and no, yes, in my other workshops, of course, I'm working with a very definite color scheme, and didn't want to make this particular demo about that necessarily. It's a separate way how I approach, but yeah, normally I would always have a color theme right out of the color wheel. I choose my colors before I start. And I do a lot of journaling before I do any of this, so I can have a feeling of what's the story I'm trying to communicate. It's a day at the beach type of a thing. So I still make it exciting and dramatic, and it all started out with carrots. And but because you practice it so often, Again, one of the things I also wanted to point out that the heads, no matter how further away they are, they're somewhat on the same picture plane. No. I'm gonna show you some other ones while you're overhead. This is a finished one. Kate told me not to touch it.
You can't paint on this.
I can't paint on this one. But it's one of my favorite ones. This is on one of those wooden panels. It's called the Blues Singer. It's a 3/4 inch wide wooden panels. So instead of paper, I like to work on wooden panels because it takes a beating. As you can see, I scrape and scratch, and the paint is really holds up really well. So, and I like the drama, I like the compositional design, and it all started with carrots. Oh, so that's where that kind of eventually goes to. You want to go in the back wall, Kate? Maybe.
Sure. Absolutely.
Really nice.
Thank you. Well, that's sweet. Oh, this. You hope it works out when you do these demos live.
Would love to have some questions.
So
If
this
anybody
is
has questions.
working with the contrast, mostly contrast and the carrots, and then playing with the different colors in there and just goofing around. And obviously a lot of negative shape painting in there too. So I like powerful women that are ready to go out and take on the world, and well, that's what we need anyway. So it's my subtle way of doing carrot figures. And pretty simple to do, but practice this. Practice the carrots. You don't skip that part. And this becomes to be goofy fun. And if you're not doing goofy fun, why are you in the studio? What are you trying to do? Win another blue ribbon? I don't think so. Sure. I know you got enough of them. You wanted to show people how they were more interested in you as a painter. Don't start apologizing that you're starting late in life or anything. Stop that. You're as good as you're going to be today. Think about that. Sorry, but you're as good as you're going to be. So tomorrow you're going to be better. It's that simple. The more you show up in your studio, and that is the most important thing. How many times have you heard that from other people like myself, maybe even Randy? Show up. Show up and doodle with this. Maybe you don't have a great idea, at least in your sketchbook or a yellow legal pad, something, a ballpoint pen. Show up and doodle, 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 doodle. Watch how you kind of get into it. All right. No one's looking at your technical skill. It's your concepts. So that's where the art stems from. Okay. That's what's going to make you memorable. So show people something they've never seen before. Well, I do the
Bob,
same old thing that they've seen before. If I see another portrait of a cat, I'm going to jump off the cliff. Oh, sorry, all you portrait people there. But
Bob, I
show,
love.
well, I'm going to cover my butt on that one. Show
Yeah.
your interpretation. Your interpret the personality. Look at Cat. The personalities are fantastic. That's what you paint. As they say in advertising, you sell the sizzle, not the steak. Look at a McDonald's hamburger commercial. You don't say anything about how good the food is. It's all about the parking lot and playground equipment and free movie tickets. You sell the sizzle, not the steak. All right? Think about that. I just want you to think about that. So it's not your technical skill people are interested. They want to see your imagination. All right. Boy, what got into my coffee today? Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, everybody. Time to pull the plug on me on that one. I appreciate everyone being here and spending the evening with me here in the studio. I got to paint. Yay. And nice to be with other artists.
Hey,
Anybody have
Bob.
any questions? Yeah.
Hey, Bob, I think Randy had a question for you.
Oh, great.
It was more of a compliment. I love the reactive approach that you take, but it's based on a strong foundation. You understand what you're doing, but you're reacting to the moment. I love that.
Thanks, Randy. Nice to have you here. It's nice to have other teachers around me. I learn from them too. I'm continuously. And keep doing whatever you're doing. Those kids need you. Boy, do they need you. I'm sure you realize that too. That's nice to have that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Keep on showing them this. So it's fun to show new artists this technique too, because they kind of like instantly see it quicker. They don't have to do the perfect anatomy thing. It's like a world's fast course. I was fortunate. I did go to 4 years of art school. So, I mean, you have that much of an advantage. So, but I'm trying to let people know you don't have to go. Have you ever seen outside of art? You know, the Basquiats and those kinds of people, the people that never went, people of other nationalities. There's no school. They just drew on the cave. Look at the Lascaux caves in Paris and France. They're a storytelling, by the way, drawing, doodling, and telling a story. And they're still around today. Go to the Mayans and the Aztecs. It's all about drawing the story, what was going on outside the caves or down the road, that kind of a thing. Oh, so think about telling a story when you're doing a drawing. That way, the drawing becomes the most beautiful thing, like a Rembrandt or Da Vinci. Man, can they draw? They didn't have iPads. They knew how to draw, right?
Bob,
So yeah.
yeah, I want to just say that I love the way you're just incorporating some unusual colors into your figures because so many people try to draw or paint everything so neutral or just realistically. And I think
Yeah.
that the colors, like you said, tell it a story, which is funny because this group does two shows a year, spring and
Oh,
fall. And our spring show is coming up in May.
wow.
And that's what we're doing is art tells a story. That's funny that you said that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, because it's at the library and I guess it's something to do with reading month is June
Yeah,
or
though, this is
something.
fantastic.
So
Nice
I'm
setup.
really excited to see what people's stories are going to be, their art that they're putting up. And we're getting, quite a few people already. We just sent the notice out, but we've already gotten 5 or 6 people that want to
That's
be
a
in.
great idea. I like the
Yeah,
combination. A
yeah,
library telling a story, the way
yeah,
an artist sees the story. That's the thing that's so
exactly.
beautiful. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah,
Great
exactly.
combination. Great idea.
Yeah.
So,
So thank
wow.
you so much.
Well, I hope this helps everybody and lightens your load a little bit, and hopefully expands your horizon of, geez, I've always wanted to do people on the beach, but I don't know how to draw people. That kind of a thing. Yes, you do. I don't want to draw people. I want to draw the illusion of what they're feeling, the dancing, the up and down, and not always have to be carrots. Make them goofy and dancing. My blue ballet dancer right here, just having a good old time. But it's also important to practice this. You know, the dark to the light, and then down here, dark all the way to the light, which I call the Rembrandt lighting. You either do it with color and or just gray, the three values, the darkest dark, lightest light, and the midtone. Don't forget to anchor it with a little bit of a shadow to make it more believable. I can't wait to see all your work now, everybody. Keep your brushes wet. Is there anything else, Jeff, that I can be doing for anybody? Any more questions? I never know when to stop. It's just like a painting, right? You never
Yeah.
know when to stop. Just
Yeah.
know that a painting stops at an interesting place, and that's your job to know when to stop, right? Yeah. Well, that's because you're excited about it and you want to keep on painting. Go to another painting. If you still have the energy and the momentum, go to another painting. Don't keep putting an idea on top of another idea on top of another idea. And you end up with a really thick painting at the end of the week. Just like that. There's a lot to learn, folks. This is not something you get like, oh, I got it. I'm going to go learn to play the cello now or something like that. And you ever notice that artists, and I'm just looking around here now, nobody retires. From what? We worked hard to get to this level. I'm not going to stop now. You know, I figured I have 10 more good years and too many more paintings left. I hope everyone stays healthy as best you can. Drink more water. Uh, that's what they tell me anyway. And keep your brushes wet. Make them bigger. Get rid of all those tiny little brushes. You'll poke your eye out with that damn little thing. So yeah, get big brushes. Like I say, paint like you mean it. You're not gonna tiptoe through this little garden. Paint like you mean it. A whole lot more funner. Thank you,
Okay.
Kate, for bringing me in
So
and
Jeff, what else would you like Bob to do, Jeff?
juggle.
I don't know. Let's hear
I'll
from
start
the
juggling.
artists
No.
here that are there. What would you like to see Bob do? A demo on something
Oh,
else, or
Any more questions?
most of the questions that, I love questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'll make it up. No, no, I listen. I have my piece of the pie. I want you guys to get your piece of the pie, and I think we all need to stick together and then join more organizations. Be with your own kind. I mean, most people we were talking earlier, they don't know how to talk to an artist. Just smile, help people, and just don't say, "Oh, it just kind of comes out." You know, help people to understand what you do. Be enthusiastic about what it is. Don't apologize, and most of us are shy. I kind of got over it.
Yeah.
But most of us are shy, but you learn to speak about your work. You'll feel empowered by that. And
Yeah.
don't do art speak. Oh my God, if I hear the word juxtaposition one more time, I'm going to slap you. Right, Mandy? All right. But speak English, so to speak. All right. And don't try to impress anybody with big words. My God, we don't walk around with a thesaurus in our back pocket. So, but show enthusiasm. Why? That's what people are going to remember, your enthusiasm. They're not going to remember all that hard work you put into a painting, unfortunately.
Do you ever paint outside, Bob, or do you mostly paint in the studio?
I'm invited the plein air festivals. They're fun to do. I don't do them that often, rarely. I like the comfort and safety of my studio where everything is. So, yeah, I've done it when I was younger. I don't want to do that anymore. But it's exciting to
Okay.
paint outside, plein air.
Okay.
And
I got a question, not just for you, for anyone here, like Deb, for example. Is this something that you can use in plein air when you're actually out there and just think, oh, this would look better if I had someone walking down this path
yeah,
and just,
absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
Jeff. Yep.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's exactly why I developed it this way because I like landscapes and abstracts and people in landscapes too to show a story. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's a little one down here, well, that yellow one right here. Absolutely, I like telling stories.
yeah. Do you have any others finished works where you have the examples of the carrot people in them or
Yes, I do. Um,
technique that you've
maybe
used
this
there?
one, the one with the brothers, Kate, that one up there, and the blue one that just won some very nice, interesting award, merit award, Watercolor Society. That one would be great too. Or any of those could. Thanks, honey. All right. Thanks. Well, here's a little tiny sketch doing everything we just got finished doing. One color, and that's that Rembrandt lighting. I'm going to show you several of these. These are ones that I have on the wall that Kate's pulling off the wall right now. I'm doing a whole thing on brothers, abstract brothers right now. And this is really one of those wide, thick canvases. So because I've done all those carrots, it's easier for me to kind of give that illusion while I'm working on other things in the painting itself. And this is one of my favorites about two people getting married, that kind of a thing. I used to be carrots. I've kind of made it all work as a whole painting now. Um, that kind of a ceremony type of thing. I do a lot of this kind of story, always about relationships. I kind of like that thing that's going on here. When you're doing one, it's a lonely story. You put two people together, now we have a real story. And when you have one story, it could just one person, it can be like exhaustion. Here's one of my favorite paintings of a model. We worked all day long with her, and at the end of the class was over, and she was just fell over backwards. And well, there's your pose. Worked all day long on this, but then when she fell back, I said, "There's your natural pose." She was exhausted.
That's
So
awesome.
there's a carrot at rest. We'll call it that, something like that. So
Looks like
thank
my
you.
position in the afternoon before dinner. It's like
Yeah, and then one
nap
more
time.
was before dinner. She eats with nakedness, I guess. I don't know. Here's another one. Kate is just pulling things off the wall for me right now, where the carrots and again relationship, and then they're just colors, and I'm scraping it with my fingernail.
It's a circus.
And it's part of the circus thing. Yeah, he's all dressed up in his tuxedo, and this is his manager. It's part of my circus series I've been doing. But it all starts off with carrots, and then just your imagination after that. I think Kate had two more. All right. Kate keeps finding all these little golden ones here off the wall. Thanks, honey. Okay, and then I'll show you my favorite one then. So again, this is like, oh gosh, funny that what the Oscars were last night. I always pretend I'm backstage, and these are people who just won some awards or some lifetime achievement, and this is that kind of lighting in theatrical lighting. So we have that. And it's just the carrots. And I'm just working with grays, 3 different values. One of my favorite ones, my parents. So Kate put a red dot on it. So mom and dad at the window. Doesn't that look like somebody's mom and dad with a big purse, just in the window, backlit? They're 2 carrots. Never thought I'd say that about my parents, but there they are. There's 2 carrots and one's carrying a purse. But pretty simple, like strong graphic design pieces. So they don't have to be busy like this stuff up in here. Really strong, simple. Thanks, Kate. It's really great. Made it nice.
Well, Bob,
That's what
can
I
I
like to
ask you,
do.
Bob, did you
Yeah.
do commercial work at some
No,
point?
I've always been an industrial designer, and but I loved painting in college so much that I just keep even after my during my industrial design period, I was still painting almost every night and in the garage. I was one of those, the sofa needed a painting, so I went and did a painting for the sofa. The bathroom needed a paint, so I did a painting for the bathroom. That kind of a thing. So I've always been painting since the '60s, and never knew I could make a living doing it. And I have a my best story is I married my manager. And we all know about that. Randy knows about that. And so I just get to focus on this, and Kate does all the other marketing. She teaches
That's
marketing to
fabulous.
artists too. Yeah, it's one of those, we set it up this way and we keep it that way. And we have goals, life goals, and my goal was to, now this is going to be the biggest braggadocious thing, but I'll get it in here anyway. My goal 30 some years ago, when we sat down, we wanted to do this. She said, I'll manage you. You go paint every day. And my goal was ridiculous. I said, I want to be in an art museum. I want my work to hang in a museum while I'm still alive. I didn't want to be a dead artist in a museum. Oh, that's highfalutin. I mean, this is really highfalutin when you know where the story's going to go. So I ended up not only one museum here in San Luis Obispo, Museum of Art, with a solo show of pastel drawings on 7 foot by 7 foot paper. Can you imagine? Yeah,
Wow.
I know. Can you imagine paper this big? It's the largest handmade paper from Kozo, Japan. Largest handmade paper, like gigantic pastel paper, really thick stuff. And they saw my work and they invited me to do it. And I got invited to another museum. That's how that works, folks. Not necessarily because I was the best there was. It just one museum passed me
What
into the next
museum
one.
are you in for the pastel? What
That
museum?
was a San Luis Obispo Museum of Art. They did a nice book on it and went online, and it
Nice.
was so. Now
I
I
love
have to set up some new goals and check that off. But it was a thrill for me quite a few years ago to have that happen. I'm just letting you people know it does happen, but we're pretty much dedicated to doing it, and I'm a real damn good manager too. So that lets me
It
to stay
worked for
focused.
Wyeth, you know. It worked for Wyeth, right?
Absolutely. Oh my. Talk about an illustrator. Yeah. Andy, his son was in my painting class, by the way.
Really?
Yo,
That's awesome.
and my first side story on that one, I never knew anything about the Wyatts. I was new. And then comes Jamie's in there, Jamie Wyatt's in there, and then comes Dad
No.
looks at the class, looks at his son. I didn't know who it was. Looks at and
Oh,
says, "Come home, Jamie. You're coming home with me. I'll teach you how to paint." And that was the first and the last time I ever saw Jamie White. And yeah, that's why he paints like his dad.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
But I mean, I was young and I didn't know anything about painting. I was there to be a designer, but I loved it so much I continued it on. And
Well, you can see your design in your work.
yeah, yeah,
You're coming from a design standpoint, the way you're
yes.
the shape based and everything. It's very that's
I
why I
can't get
asked
away
about the
with it. Yeah,
commercial because
and very strong graphics. I
you
like
look like a
graphics.
designer.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. It's really nice to have other people and other teachers, as I said, around me in here. I learn from them too.
Any
Thank goodness.
questions? We love this.
Bob, I have a question. I'm a fan of your drip trees. I took your class and I'm going to adapt it for really young children on Saturday. Can I be successful with them with just using water instead of alcohol to spray, mist the paint?
The alcohol, what it does, it creates little eddies, little bubbles.
Yeah, but I'm not
Because it's an oil-based
have
kind of a thing.
really
And it's a hard thing to
using it.
teach because the paper has to be right, the paint has to be the right wetness. Otherwise it'll be too gummy and you won't get that effect of the alcohol. I would say you should try it for a while, a little bit, and see which consistency of water and paper works the best.
Okay.
It's a little tricky, especially for kids. They want to get into paint and alcohol. I wouldn't do it with alcohol with kids,
No,
personally.
that's what I'm saying. Could I be successful with
Oh,
just
without alcohol.
water?
Oh,
Just
yeah, they'll turn it into mud because they're going to be doing this stuff, and God love them, right? So how do you control that? You don't control it. So I'm going to say you won't get the effect that the alcohol does on watercolors if you're
Would
just using water.
um would
okay.
possibility when you do watercolor, you use salt for sometimes.
Oh yes,
If they use salt instead of
certainly
like
can.
alcohol?
You certainly can use salt, and the only problem with that is it takes a while for it to react
Yeah,
because
we're gonna
they're
use
the
acrylic.
granules they have to absorb, and it takes overnight, kind of a thing. And these kids don't have patience for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
we're
don't
gonna use
Okay.
have patience for that.
acrylic paint like you did with
Yeah,
glass.
yeah.
Yeah.
But in the old days, that's what we used. Coarse salt. And it was cool, right? But to me, be careful. Don't get too gimmicky. Just use good paint and your imagination. Because I know if you looked in your studio, I bet you've got stuff that you bought. You thought this is going to be the coolest, and you still have it. Special wax and stuff that glows in the dark and stuff that turns electricity and feeds animals. Folks, just get yourself some. And I know I'm who I'm talking to. Mother artists, I know you got stuff you'll never use again. All right, pass it on to somebody else. Just get yourself some good paint, and a lot of paint surfaces, gigantic buckets of water, and big brushes, and crank up the music and have a good time. That's what it is. I mean, don't
Good.
worry about other people and winning awards. And if you paint from your heart, you already received the award. That's
Thank
simple.
you. Thank you.
God, what was in my coffee here this afternoon? I don't know. That's water too. Huh? Picked a hell of a week to stop drinking. What is this, Kate?
Have you tried the So Flat Golden? It looks like a matte finish when it's done. Do you like that?
Well, I do put a varnish on everything. And a
Hmm.
varnish, yes, I varnish for a couple of reasons. Varnish, first of all, protects the surface. Um, And also because I use so many different kinds of paints and paper and stuff like that when I do my collage, it's all going to dry with a different sheen. Paper's going to dry differently, shiny and semi-gloss. And so by putting on a final varnish or a finish on it, it kind of pulls all the sheens together and holds it together. Now, I do use an archival varnish on my stuff, like Holbein makes it, Golden makes that polymer varnish with UVLS. Great stuff.
Hmm.
Great stuff. And that way I can use all kinds of weird stuff in my paintings and not have to worry about archivalness. I don't worry about that. I just use really good art materials. But sometimes I'll use collage paper, which, we have no idea how long it's going to last. So I'll use the UV varnish. And again, you can buy it locally here at Golden's,
What
or
finish do you like?
everybody makes that stuff. So
What
did I
finish do
answer
you
your
like?
question?
Yeah, kind of. What finish do you like to make your paintings
Oh,
then?
oh, oh, it depends on the size. For a while
Okay.
there, remember we were all doing that bar top finish, super thick
Oh
epoxy
yeah.
finish. It was so cool. It was ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah.
But especially archival quality. So I got off and I'm just using, I use satin and
Hmm.
semi-gloss. They
Okay.
look like jewels after that. But I do like the satin. I also like a wax finish. The Dorland's wax, that's what the Smithsonian Institute uses to restore old paintings. Dorland's wax, they rub it in just like putting it on your face. Gets rid of all the wrinkles, right? I have a lot of wax on me, but it's called Dorland's wax. You basically burnish it on and wipe it off. It's really if the Smithsonian is using it, I'm using it. Dorland's wax.
I didn't know I could use the wax on the acrylics. I use it on my gouache and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
casein.
It's good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, I'll have to try
It's a
that.
combination of beeswax and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
good stuff.
nice.
But mostly I do a light brush on varnish and satin or semi-gloss. I've settled down in my old age here. I'm going more dull. Oh God. Dull's a pretty nice finish though. I mean, you could, it makes it look like a print. That's the only problem. I don't like dull. Matte finishes.
Oh, you don't like the
It would
matte?
make it look like a print. And I wanted to have a little bit of kickback, a little sheen to it. And that's why I like the satin finish. It doesn't go screaming in your face, but it has a nice finish. And you put it on gently, by the way. Don't put it on like you're painting a fence because it'll foam up, it'll bubble up, and it will go on white and dries white. So the whole trick about varnishes is you don't shake it up. Stir it gently, stir it gently. Don't shake it up. We all have a bad habit of shaking it. What you're doing, you're churning it up and making lots of bubbles, and you'll never get rid of those bubbles. So go ahead and use a good varnish if you brush on. Now, watercolors. Can I have that spray right there, Kate?
Yeah.
This is the biggest news of the night. So hold on there, folks.
Drum roll.
Thanks, honey. Thanks. I love watercolors too. What I don't like about them, of course, which we all complain about, is the glass and the matte and all the archival stuff about you being so careful. I'm not careful with my watercolors. Just let you know. I mean, I use them and not in a delicate way. But I don't like to put glass. To me, it's too ancient. When I did those gigantic pastels on that 7-foot paper, and I was invited to do this museum show, what am I going to put them behind? Glass? No. The museum had a great idea. We'll just nail them right to the wall like graffiti. What a great idea! These gigantic drawings just nailed right to the wall. I cried when I saw it. They exhibited it and put it all up. And when I first saw it, I just burst out. I couldn't believe it. It was beautiful. They did a great job. So we knew people were going to come up and start touching it. What are we going to do? So I discovered, and thank goodness I called around to a lot of educators. What do you do in your art class? And I know they're concerned about toxicities in an art class. So I discovered what you'd put on top of a watercolor. This is a great information. Hang in there. It's 3 sentences long, but it's worth it. Casein. You want to put casein, which is milk without whey. I feel like I'm doing a commercial here. This is milk without whey, made by SpectraFix. That's why there's a cow on here, and then there's the rainbow on here. It's all nice. It's all natural. That's it. Milk without whey. And you're going to say, no way. And I'm going to say, well, that's casein, and that's what you want to put on. Now, if you don't believe me, here's the real great piece of information. Have you seen the Sistine Chapel ceiling lately? It's a watercolor, in wet plaster of Paris, sealed in casein. They knew way back then that if you sealed those walls, watercolor in plaster of Paris, have you seen it? Hasn't changed colors. Pretty amazing information. I don't know why everybody doesn't know it. Look it up if you don't believe me. Casein, this is the company that does it. It's a beautiful design, speaking of designer. And it comes out in a little mist. You won't be able to see it, I don't think. Yeah, there's a little bit of it. And it's perfect mist. And you put now it has no additives, so it doesn't speed up. It has to naturally dry. That's what I like about it. And that's why I don't use spray cans. Too many chemicals in here. So this is that's all it is, milk without whey, and it
Okay,
comes in this little pump. No electricity, no batteries. It's a beautiful product, and I happen to like the ergodynamics of it. Much like a
okay,
beauty salon. Yeah,
Bob, could you write up a little bit about that I can include in the description on the YouTube video
Yes.
for people?
she said
So,
yes.
yes,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, great.
It's non-toxic, it's odor-free, all natural, all media. I
Huh?
wouldn't put it on oil though. But it is beeswax and milk, and that's about it, something like that. So, and it sends off a nice fine mist. You can get the pump spray, or you can get this.
Yeah, I'll get something to you.
Thanks,
Jeff.
honey. That's kind of an important information. So I don't glass any of my work. Either for my acrylics, I brush on the varnish, and for my watercolors and pastels, it's this. All right, and it works. And for the pastels, um, because there's no, it doesn't speed up. It takes about 6 coats. Well, that's how gentle this stuff is, but it works great. We just knew that when no one was looking, people were going to go up and touch the paper, and nothing came off. Just, and isn't learning about painting fun? Oh, gosh. Any more questions? I always like to let people know about this, especially watercolorists, because I know to get into some of these societies, you have to be in the mat, the glass, the whole bit. And if you can get away with it, no glass, no mat, and this
Hey,
works
Bob.
great. Yeah,
I'm I do pastels, and I'm thinking a lot of fixatives change the color. So I haven't used them. Does that one change the color of the pastels, Manning?
this does not change. It's casein. And
Okay.
the Sistine Chapel hasn't changed, and they've cleaned it with all the carbon and candle soot and all that, and it's still perfect. So I'm just saying, I'm not a spokesman for this product,
Okay.
but I'm just letting you know, try it. It's better than whatever everybody else is doing right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being a pastel artist. I'm having a good time with it myself. No, really, I am. I just did a Bob blast on it, or a 2-day demo or something. I don't know what I did. It was great fun. Yeah. You guys are one. I hope this helps everyone, and you feel free to go to. I mean, I'll talk about our Bob Blast. It's free, and it's all archived, so you can spend 4 weeks just sitting binge watching Bob Blast. I guess I don't know. 600 of them. They're about 10 to 15 minutes long. So there's one little thing on each one, just like Randy would say. You take sections, just teach them sections. You don't teach them the whole thing. It's too much to get in your head. So, well.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for asking us to come back again this year. This has been wonderful.
Yeah, we've always enjoyed you. So,
It's been great.
and I was telling Bob and Kate before everyone else joined. Uh, his last demo that we did has a little bit over 40,000 views. So he is very popular.
So thank you for inviting me.
Yep.
I better be good next time.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
you guys are sweet. It's really nice. And thank you for your questions. I always love questions because we share information. And I can only share with you what I know. And as I said, if I don't know it, I'll make it up. Keep your brushes wet, everybody.
Thank
And
you.
paint from
Okay.
your heart.
Thanks,
Nice to meet
Bob.
you, Andy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.